Go.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Houston Ensemble podcast. We're here today with a really wonderful guest. This is episode 21, and we're bringing on Dolly Ahuja.
That's right.
Did I
Peace
say
out.
it right?
Peace out.
Did I say it? Okay.
Yeah. High five.
High five her, man. Jesus.
I didn't see it. I was looking at the camera.
Yeah, it's actually Dolly Vyas-Ahuja.
Vyas-Ahuja. Vyas-Ahuja.
I've kept my maiden name and hyphenated it, so yeah.
And you have a really interesting story. There's a whole lot to you, which we're going to get into today. But just, at the beginning, can you just kind of tell everybody your background, where you're from, what you're about?
Sure. So my name is Dolly Vyas-Ahuja, Ahimsa animal activist. And I was born in India. And we came to the United States, just when I was 1 year old. And I come from a Hindu family. And I grew up in a vegetarian home. So we always ate vegetarian in the house. Then once my brother and I started kindergarten and we started the lunch school program, my dad, let us eat at the lunch school program. And I think he figured we're going to be living in America, so let's just adapt. And so I lived the American way, pizza, popcorn, ice cream, burgers. Even worked at McDonald's, my first job when I was 15. So I pretty much remained disconnected till about 6 years ago when I started practicing the way of the Tao and Taoism. And I started following a master called Master Mantak Chia. And he said to meditate at a tree. Always meditate outside and build a relationship with the tree because trees carry a lot of knowledge. And the vibration and frequency outside in nature is so much higher. And I started doing that, and he said, exchange oxygen and CO2 with the tree. First start doing that. I started doing that. Then I sat down at the tree and I would put my hands on the soil. And I would tell the tree, take all the toxins out of my body and decompose them to positive energy. And I told the tree to show me truth and knowledge. And I noticed soon after that, I got into juicing. I started seeing some recipes. And I started making carrot juice. I was watching a lot of Charlotte Gerson therapy from the therapy clinic. They're curing cancer patients with carrot, ginger, apple juice. So I watched a lot of her videos, and I got into juicing. I wasn't a vegan yet. And then I started making, smoothies and lemon water, and I felt this energy and felt so good. Continued to meditate at the tree, and I told the tree, show me love and truth and compassion. So I come home one day, and while watching a juicing video, I bump into The Best Speech Ever by Gary Yavalsky. You guys know about it?
No.
Oh, you gotta see it. It's the best speech ever. So yeah, I watched it and it was on animal cruelty. And boy, oh boy, it was so hard to watch. It devastated me. That night, I remember April 16th, 2014, I watched the video and I went to go make dinner that night and I just had a breakdown on the kitchen floor. I couldn't handle it. And that's it. That night I went vegan overnight, and ever since I've never looked back. So I really thank my tree and of course Mantak Chia, meditation. It changed my life. And so soon after that, so I go vegan and I go to like my first vegan potluck and stuff like that. Continue to meditate at the tree. And I felt like being vegan wasn't enough. I had to do something more. And the tree actually gave me an idea. Why don't you talk to your own Indian people about vegetarian and going vegan? And also, I had something in my mind. I'm pretty sure. Now I know it's all the tree. The tree is leading me everything. That I need to go to Indian temples and, do lectures on veganism. Because at the temple, we're using a lot of dairy. We pour milk over our God, our deities, as a sign of respect.
Oh, wow.
At Hindu temples, Jain temples. We use a lot of milk at the sweets at the temples. we light a diva, which is a candle, but it's made out of a cotton wick, and we pour ghee, which is clarified butter. So there's a lot of dairy used at the temple. And I want to educate that if we are a pure Ahimsa temple, which means nonviolence, and if we're pure vegetarian, this is what we believe in nonviolence, then we've got to get dairy out of the temple. Mm-hmm. So I started doing research. This is when I started writing. And I told my mom, this is what I'd like to do. And so she introduced me to a friend in Pennsylvania, where I'm from. And then he introduced me to there's a man here in Texas, Dr. Jane, Shulek Jane. And he got me introduced to a temple in Houston, a Jain temple. And I finally got to talk there. And that was my first ever time I got to talk at a Jain temple. You know, my voice was shaking, but I did it. And there was a lot of progress made at the temple afterwards, you know. The president, actually, Ms. Urvashi Jain, the former president, went vegan. And they started using, instead of using the ghee and the diva, they started using coconut oil, which I educated.
We use a lot of that here.
Yeah, I love coconut oil too. I love it. It's good for everything.
Yeah.
And at Sunday school for the kids, they stopped serving milk. And we're heavy tea drinkers. Our Indian tea is so good. So tea is served at the temple every Sunday. They started using soy. So I was like, thank you, God. So a lot of changes had been made in that temple. So that's where it started. And from there on, wherever I was invited to speak, I would go. And this is what, dairy's not ahimsa. That's my topic. That's what I talk about wherever I'm. People say, Dolly, can you do a lecture? I'm like, yes, I'd go anywhere.
And just for everybody who's listening, that's actually how we met, because when I was putting on the Rice Veg Fests at Rice University, our vegan festivals, me and my partner, Christoph Wagner, found Dolly and realized that she'd be a great person to have come and speak about, animal cruelty and all that. So that's how we got hooked up back in the day. And recently I saw that she was speaking with some other really famous people, Dr. Will Tuttle, who we just had on our podcast as well. And I was like, we need to have Dolly on here to talk about this kind of stuff, but also not even just veganism, because we don't even need to be stuck on that. It's more about a way of life, an outlook on life.
Yes.
And I know, before we got into the recording session, we already were talking about life and the zeitgeist and what's going on in the world, but you're making a film right now.
Yes.
You're doing a documentary.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell everybody kind of what's going on with your documentary?
Yes. So the name of the documentary is called The Land of Ahimsa. India is known as the land of Ahimsa. Ahimsa means nonviolence to all living beings in what we say and what we think and what we do. And nonviolence not just to human beings, but all beings. The word is so elegant, empowering, and enduring because it describes our character, said so well by Philip Wollen. And so I got invited to speak at the World Vegan Conference in 2019 in July. It was held in India. It's a huge deal. And I was telling my husband, when I go, I'd love to interview activists, because I got on social media, I started becoming friends with Indian activists in India. So I'm like, I want to interview them. Because I started this little YouTube channel. And I put recipes out because I love to cook. So green juice and my recipes and interviews. And so I was telling my husband, we got to go and visit athletes and activists and plant-based doctors. And then I slept on it for a few days. And I told my husband, why not just make a documentary? If we're going to go to India and travel to all within India and do all this work, why don't we do a documentary? He's like, that's a good idea. And we were so lucky because my husband he grew up with a good friend over there, like his brother, Mr. Ariman, who's a Bollywood director.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and we asked him, is this something? He's like, well, I've never done a documentary, but I love challenges. He's like, let's do it. So Yeah, we went to India and we traveled, and we go to dairy industry. We talk to people at PETA India. Mm-hmm. We went to sanctuaries, entrepreneurs, athletes. So the whole story is about my overnight transformation to veganism, all the wonderful people that I met here in my journey, like Dr. Will Tuttle, Dr. Rao, mm-hmm. Renee at Rowdy Girl.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys now, and Christophe, and so many people on my journey, and then India as well. And there hasn't been a documentary on India yet, and veganism. So.
And I watched the trailer when you sent it to me, but we're gonna play the trailer right now so that everybody who's watching can get a feel for it, awesome. And be looking forward to it. So
awesome, thank you.
Check this out. Dollywood.
You like it?
It is time for India to say what she means and mean what she says.
Do you think India is the land of Ahimsa?
India? No, not at all.
Milk is something that is totally natural. If you're a calf and you're getting it from mom, who's a cow, but if you're a human baby, nature thought you would get milk from your mother, and that's the natural source.
Why all Jain and Hindu people are so much attached with all this kind of food? They can do 30 days fast, but they cannot stop one day dairy product.
That was a spiritual leader.
If you look at the incidence of dairy use in India over the last 30 years, it's nearly doubled.
Today, milk is poison. It's not nectar. We have selected the cows to produce more and more milk. So now the cows are so big and they're producing so much milk. So literally when we drink that milk, it's trying to make us grow that fast.
If we just eliminated the animal products, we could live in a world of abundance. We could reforest the earth. We could then sequester the carbon. We could then combat climate change. We could also feed starving children. We could really have a land of peace, a land of Ahimsa. We just need to make this one simple change, and we can do it.
Wow. That was a beautiful documentary. And
Thank you.
It reminded me a lot of the imagery from this kind of other documentary called Samsara. Have you ever heard of Samsara?
No.
It's kind of it's more artistic in the sense that it is just cinematography and no speaking.
Wow.
Documenting basically humanity's fall from grace, aka we start natural. I think they actually start in Cambodia or something like that at the temples, and they're doing music and all this amazing art in Tibet.
Wow.
And then we come and they do a quick shift at this one point in the movie where it goes to like the trash mountains in China.
Wow.
And factory workers and all that stuff. Anyway, that's kind of unrelated, but it's also very related and very much the same thing. One thing that made me think of was when we're, especially from my perspective, veganism is kind of like a conspiracy theory for some people, or actually it is in some sense, in the way that you'll say, well, you know, when you actually go look at everything, they're poisoning us, whether it's, you know, what they put into the meats or what they spray the vegetables with,
right?
You know,
the
Monsanto, or what they allow in the fat. And for some reason, that is acceptable to say today. Like, it's people are like, well, yeah, we know that they're doing that, and they're literally, you know, killing us. Or even fluoride in the water. And,
exactly.
And by the way,
your pineal gland.
I forgot. This is our first episode where we have a new sponsor. Speaking about fluoride in the water, we've been sponsored by Epic Water Filters, which is a company out of Colorado that provides home filtration systems, whether it's a bottle or a pitcher or something like that. And it filters out over 200 contaminants, including fluoride, chromium, certain pesticides, everything you don't want in your water, lead.
That's great.
And what you can do is use our discount code to get 20% off of any order. And you can also use our discount code to get 30% off of your membership order. And that code is Houston Ensemble. We're going to put all that in the description for you guys to check out. But long story short, those are the best filters that you can buy for personal use or home use. So
that's awesome.
I'd recommend that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is acceptable today to talk about like veganism being, or the food stuff being conspiracy, but it's not acceptable to question anything else, which is kind of weird. And I'm just like, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about what we're allowed to say and what we're not allowed to say, what's acceptable and what's not?
Well, I think we all have the freedom of speech, our First Amendment rights. We all have to share our truth. Everyone has their truth, so you can do with what you want with that truth, but I'm going to share that truth.
You know, I think it's beyond an ideology. It's beyond whatever. It's not about veganism. It's actually about elevating our moral consciousness. So you can imagine a world where we can keep going with this technological development and we can get better stuff and it'll be really nice and beautiful. But if morally and spiritually we don't really progress, I don't think we'll know what to do with that technology, or it'll be kind of like this situation where we're getting a lot of benefits from technology, but we're also like seeing weird stuff like depression is rising.
Yes.
Anxiety,
suicide.
Medication suicide. And it's like just even day-to-day things, like people don't call each other anymore. They're a little awkward. They don't go out.
Yeah, like this new generation.
This new generation is like
they don't
socially awkward.
Yeah, they don't know how to talk.
Yeah, and so that's, if you think about a little phone doing that to us, and then you start talking about plugging our brains into computers and like doing like robotic bodies and stuff, then it's like, what are the consequences of that gonna be?
Yeah, no way. I don't want the 5G and the AI but these are all good topics.
Yeah. So it's about elevating our moral consciousness. So
and it's difficult because I mean, I think we feel all very similarly about this kind of stuff, but there are going to be people who will look from the outside in and they're going to say, but that's anti-progress. And I don't think anybody here is actually anti-progress.
No, I personally don't necessarily even want to stop that stuff from coming into existence. That stuff could be amazing if done correctly. You know what I mean?
Who said it the other day? It was either you or it was Alex talking about consciousness. Like, if you believe that everything has consciousness and thus everything we make has consciousness, then doesn't that mean nothing would be without it? Like in the future, if we're talking about some sort of AI or something without consciousness.
Well, here's a question then for you, Dolly. Let's say you have a completely robotic body, but a brain. Your brain's the same.
Yeah.
Is that still you?
No, of course not. No, this is all. Humans should always remain human, and we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So all this future stuff is not right, where we're connected. We can have a chip in our brain and we're connected to the computer or the robot in our house. And I think that we need to remain human. And so that technology is dangerous.
Yeah, I think we need to be cautious about it. And people forget. I remember, this past summer I was doing a lot of research on kind of electromagnetic frequencies and all that kind of stuff, and I actually bought an electromagnetic reader, which is in my room right now, just to kind of test my magnetic fields and the EMF waves around me. And they're high everywhere, which is really kind of scary.
Yeah.
But people are very quick to be like, oh my gosh, you are crazy. That's not dangerous at all. That new giant tower, it's not going to do anything to you.
You don't want to be near it. Yeah.
Well, it's like, firstly, okay, it's for sure that it's putting off very intense waves. Secondly, go look at an original BlackBerry owner's manual. It says, don't put the phone right on your ear because it's not healthy for you.
Exactly.
And then when they actually do like thermal imagery of cell phones against the ears, you can look at the radiation going into your brain.
Exactly.
You're sleeping next to it. We got our 1,000 gigahertz whatever Wi-Fi, but it's like we're stuck in this.
Yeah. But as long as you spend, yes, we today have to check our emails. We have to check a few things.
Yeah.
But if you spend more time in nature, ground yourself, walk barefoot, be in nature, then the negative electric ions from Mother Earth will create equilibrium in your body. But most people don't even know this, don't take the time. Most people never took their socks off and felt grass.
Yeah.
So you got to get back to nature.
Yeah.
And then you should be okay. And you don't go overboard on your computer and phone. We all have to a little bit, I think, but don't want to go overboard with that stuff. But what I wanted to explain in the documentary, in that little clip there, that a lot of our gods are depicted as animals. You see that we worship the elephant god, Ganpati, Lord Ganesh. And outside of the temple, we are harming the elephant.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Then we worship Hanumanji, which has the monkey, it's the monkey god. Yet outside of the temple, we are making monkeys dance, which is a lot of abuse taking a place in that. And then, of course, the cow. In the temple, we're praising the cow, which is Gau Mata, which means our mother. But outside of the temple, we're harming the cow. So look at the hypocrisy there. And that's what the film there is talking about. Yeah.
It seems like we see that hypocrisy in all forms of life today. Whether we see it in that Indian culture of saying one thing and doing another thing, or we see it in our current culture right here in the United States. We're saying one thing and we're doing another thing and we're lying.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've been dealing with a lot recently. And for example, when Dr. Tuttle was on here, he was saying, you think that the way we treat animals isn't going to transfer over to humans?
Right.
It already has.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it can get worse. It can easily get way worse. But why would anybody be so naive to believe that everybody in the upper echelon has our best interest in mind?
Yeah.
When we accept these offers from government in exchange for our acquiescence that's like a bribe. So when we take a stimulus, the way I see it is this is kind of a bribe. They're saying that you're following our rules and staying at home and being quiet and putting this thing over your face.
Yeah, especially
that's
be
worth
quiet.
$600.
Yeah.
And that's the way I see it. Maybe that's a weird way to see it, but that's what's going on. It's like a business relationship. It's a money relationship. So that's what it really is at the core of it. It's a bribe, and I think that's very weird. Never before in history has the government. Never before in history has the government had such a sweeping power to make its entire citizenry do one thing.
Yeah.
I can't think of like reading about history. I can't think of a time like that. I've never read anything like that before.
Well, we were never told to wear a mask when we had TB. We were never told to wear masks during influenza.
Yeah.
You know, but it's all persona. It's to cover up, to be quiet, not to see expression of your. Look, just think about the children.
Yeah.
When you can't see expression, you can't see someone smile.
That's weird.
You know,
Or
I'll be at a restaurant and be like, huh?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand what you're saying.
And the rules don't make sense anyway.
The person at the coffee place this morning kept having to come around the plastic guard so I can hear, understand her. It's not working. Also, you're fine. Secondly, another weird thing, speaking of the children, whether covering, we can go in the opposite direction. They don't have to wear masks. For example, kids under 9 aren't legally obliged to wear a mask. And what does that say? That says a few things. It's either, 1, they're immune, which they're not.
Yeah.
2, it's a possible concession that, maybe it's not great for kids to wear the mask the whole time because of the increased CO2 within your enclosed space. And I forget the representative name from Ohio, but you can watch him take the CO2 reader, put it in all sorts of different masks, let somebody breathe for a little bit and check the levels. And it's like, you're telling me that that's a lie?
Right.
You're telling me it's fake or that it's not? No, it's actually happening. I'm not going to go out and, say I know everything, but...
Well, breathing in your own CO2 all day long it's not healthy. You need oxygen. You need oxygen. So, a lot of people are getting severe headaches.
Yeah.
2 kids died in China during track wearing the mask. So, yeah.
Or you go to, and I went to 24-hour fitness the other week for the first time ever here. And I was like, dang, it's going to be kind of tough to wear the mask while I'm on the treadmill.
Well, our gym doesn't require it, thank God.
Well, what I realized is that nobody's wearing their mask at the gym. Everybody takes it down.
Yeah. So it's a
and so we'd all have COVID, right?
Yeah.
And if that contagious and we're gonna die from it, where are the biohazard trash cans? Because I see these masks at gas stations, at grocery stores. It's everywhere. So we would have all died by now. We'd all have it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where eventually there's going to come a point where they're going to put their foot in their mouths because it's going to be like the new flu. So then it's going to be a new flu, and then it's going to be like, oh, I got last week, it's fine. It's going to be like that. It's going to eventually normalize, and we're going to look back to this period. And if we're not looking back to this period and wondering why we were so hyper at each other, it's going to be weird. But that, like everything else, people just forget it. They move on to the next thing. It's like, what's...
Alabama versus Ohio State. Alabama won the other day. We don't really pay attention, but our other roommate does. And he showed us this. He said the streets were flooded with people, like thousands upon thousands of people celebrating Alabama's win. And, for example, a story from our friend who lives with us, he said he had a friend there. There was a group of 10 of them, and they were in that thousands of people mob. And they're like, okay, well, let's all go get tested, because a lot of them had to be. 1 out of 10 tested positive, and he's not sick at all. Now, mind you, we do need to be careful with our words.
Yeah,
When
I said it, didn't I?
Yeah.
I don't know what you. I don't know.
Did I say?
Yeah, he did, but it's okay. Just say C. That's all you have to say.
But yeah,
But
for everybody
bottom
watching,
line,
it's
you
crazy.
need a strong immune system.
Yeah.
This is it. You got to have a strong immune system. Right now, you get the zinc, vitamin D3.
Yeah.
Every cell in your body needs vitamin D3. Every cell. Vitamin D3 and vitamin C. So I get this because I juice a lot, but during this season, I add zinc into my smoothie, vitamin D3 and C.
Yeah.
Get a lot of sun. We live in Texas. We're fortunate. Get the sun. That's the best.
Yeah.
But if you have a strong immune system, you don't need to live in fear at all.
Yeah, and I mean, another thing is that you see the people that are like the most worried about it are the most unhealthy. And
Yes,
the most out of shape.
they got the carts with the Cheetos and the meat and the ice cream and, God forbid my mask went down my nose. Oh, look at her,
Yeah, right.
But if you don't eat right, you have to have a strong immune system. That's what I feel.
If you look like an amorphous blob, you might have other things to worry about.
I want to go back to the documentary a little bit
Yes.
because I was thinking about it when
Yeah.
I was watching it. The cinematography, actually, like I was saying earlier, was so beautiful. What was it like making all of this? Like producing it, getting the people to come together?
Yeah. Well, thank God for our Bollywood director, Mr. Ariman, in India. He's done a great job. I would just tell him, this is my ideas, and I want to interview these people. But I always, when we were kids, we would go to India every summer as kids, and I never
So cool.
I wouldn't see animal cruelty then because I wasn't looking for it. But when I go, I see it. I see cows on the street, or I see these monkeys dancing. When we were kids, we thought, oh, that's so cool. Or, sheep and chickens, like there'll be chickens on the street and they just slaughter it right in front of you fresh. But when you're young, you don't think of it. But this time I was just like devastated. And we went to a dairy farm. Most were buffaloes. Now in India, black buffalo. In India, they have rights and they're protected, but not buffaloes. Buffaloes aren't at all. They will go to slaughter. Cows do go to slaughter, but that's happening illegally. Because cows are considered holy and sacred in India.
Yeah.
You're never supposed to kill a cow. But buffaloes don't have rights. Yeah.
That's so weird.
And the thing is,
I also have a reason why it might be weird, but keep going.
the deep meaning to that could be the black. This is also goes way back to, the untouchables were darker. The darker you are, there's a lot of prejudice in India too of that. At least it was a long time ago. So buffaloes being black color have no right. And so we're drinking a lot of buffalo milk in India, and cow's milk, and goat milk. So the buffaloes, they were chained. They had heavy chains. All they could do is sit and stand up. That's it, sit and stand up. And I saw the rape rack there. And people think in India, cows are just making love and everything's fine and we treat her like a mother in the backyard. Years ago, I got to take you guys back. Years ago, people had cows in their backyard and were treated like a family member. That's why we call her Gau Mata. We actually, because Lord Krishna, our God Lord Krishna, was a cow herder. And he loved his cows. He was so good to his cows. And our Lord Krishna said, never to harm the cow. That's why nobody eats beef in India. Most of them, like Hindus and Jains for sure. We don't eat beef. And people, always remembered that. It's in our Gita, in our scriptures. And so they would have a cow in the backyard. They kept her for all her life, loved her, treated her like a family member. But that's not going on now. Right. Everything has changed. It's all commercial, it's all greed, it's all money. So we're not having cows in the backyard. We're getting our milk from the industry or packet milks that get sent to the house. And this is from buffalo milk, cow milk, goat milk. And yes, they're using artificial insemination. Yes, they're taking drugs. Yes, it's very cruel.
And a point to the drug part of the milk and all the hormones and stuff, if you actually go and look at a chart, and it's talking about female menstruation onset. So when a girl first gets her period,
That's right.
Pre-World War II, it was about the 16,
16, 17, yeah.
Now it's 12.
Yes. Because of all that estrogen, all that hormone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so post-industrial revolution, the creation of factory farming, the creation of, the artificial insemination, adding the hormones to make more milk production.
Right.
It's actually affecting us. And I think that I probably went through puberty early because I was drinking so much school carton milk.
Yes.
Growing up, and I'm like, oh my God. And like, that's probably the worst milk I could have been
And
drinking too.
even growing older men get boobs. They start to get this fat on their chest. Men are always supposed to be flat chested, and this is from all the dairy that they drink for all the years because of that female hormone, the estrogen. Also, prostate cancer is huge because of dairy, because of the bovine growth hormone.
That's
So
right,
a
the
lot of
bovine.
dangers with dairy health-wise. Yeah.
Do you see this? You said, like, for example, men are supposed to be flat-chested. Do you feel like our society is even kind of morphing into something that it shouldn't be today? Maybe it's like becoming amorphous, or we're losing touch with our natural selves?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Armin and I talk about this a lot. It seems like things are getting, and I want to say it like, but things are getting, I don't know, confused sometimes, or we're just losing touch with who we are.
There's people in our government that are tasked with the job of social dynamics. When the government figures out what its citizenry needs, it needs data on demographics. It needs data on belief systems. And oftentimes what a great tool is for population control, and this goes back, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist because it's not about that.
Well, I think you're getting into, they're making men sterile. A lot through vaccinations, a lot through the food, and they don't want the population, to increase. And a lot of men want either sterile or, even. I don't even get into this. It's very deep, but
mind you, we've been very careful with our words.
Well,
but let me just say real quick,
yeah.
and then keep going.
Yeah.
ABC article came out.
Yeah.
Straight up on ABC, it said, "Men, freeze your sperm because when you get the new shot or something, it could make you not sterile."
Yeah.
I mean, it could make you sterile.
Yeah, there's actually a risk of that. So I'll address that real quick, and then I'll just finish what I was saying.
Well, let me ask you that. No, I'm kidding.
So about that factor with the shot, it's because the material that's going in your body is mutagenic, and mutagenic means that it has the capacity to mutate your genes, and that's its primary function. When you have something that is mutagenic, it tends to accumulate in your genitalia, the material, because that's the primary region of your genetic material is your genitalia.
Give him the example about the 6 months that we were talking about.
Yeah.
What we were also reading about one day is that this material from the pharmaceutical was actually staying in the men's scrotum for up to 6 months.
Yeah.
And so if you're, putting something into your body that's staying inside of you, especially the important fertility part, for up to 6 months, and then especially in women, it can create an immune response with the formation of the placenta and all this kind of stuff. You're like, is that really the best thing for us, and do we really need it?
And it's interesting because there's definitely a correlation there between controlling animal populations.
Yeah.
So it's like we really are doing the same thing to each other.
Yeah. And, what's weird is actually, I'm not going to make the claim on it because I don't know, but I've heard many people talk about, they're saying, oh yeah, we're at our carrying capacity for the Earth. But there are many other people who say we're actually not. I mean, and by the way, if you go drive through the United States, you're like, we got a lot of room. And by the way, go watch a Vsauce video where he says, if we took every human alive, all 7 billion of us, and stacked us in a pile, we would just create kind of like a big pile within the Grand Canyon. Not taking up the Grand Canyon, not by any means. I mean, like, I think it's like about as tall as the Grand Canyon, but it maybe takes up like a square mile. No more than that, I don't think.
Hell yeah.
Whatever, it was so small.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
That's not a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've thought about this for a long time. I don't know. Do you kind of feel like there's for some reason anti-human sentiment in politics and in like, well, how kids
maybe not. Well, there's definitely an from Dolly's perspective, I think there's an anti-animal sentiment. To some extent.
Anti-animal sentiment too. Yeah, I get that.
I think Armin's saying, like, do you see people hating humanity more than ever?
Of course, that's why we need to uplift humanity. Right now is the time to uplift humanity. We don't want to be trapped in this matrix that we're ruled, all our rights are taken away, we're controlled. Now is the time that humanity must uplift, and I really think it's a great time to be living right now because the truth is going to come out, and God and good will always be higher than evil, and that's always going to rise up. And I feel like right now the vibration and the frequency of the planet is going high, where evil will not be able to exist. There's so much love energy, love consciousness. So I do feel we will get there. But most of us will go to the 4th, 5th dimension, and we'll leave this 3rd dimension. I mean, we're already there, because I'm already there, because I know you guys are there. So so we need to all go to that 4th, 5th dimension.
If you ever come to the studio, you'll know we're there. But do you want to talk a little bit about what you're seeing in that kind of political realm today?
I'd rather not. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather just stick to the land of Ahimsa. Yeah.
Well, I feel that. Yeah. What part of India were you actually born in? I may have missed that.
I was born in Mumbai.
Oh wow.
But I was, my mom's side is from Rajkot, which is in the state of Gujarat. So I visit both places. So I'm a Gujarati. I speak Gujarati.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you? I know it's kind of like cliche for this, but could you maybe like give us a sample of what that sounds like? Because I don't know.
Sure. What do you want me to say? Maru naam Dolly che. That means my name is Dolly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool, and that's something that I feel like as Americans we miss out on. We're so disconnected from India.
Yeah. Or even your own ancestry, like a lot of people.
Our own ancestry.
And it's my children don't speak my language. That's my fault. I should have, because my husband speaks a different dialect. I speak a different dialect. So in the house we're speaking English, but my husband and I sometimes speak in our language because now it's so similar.
Oh.
But my kids just speak in English, so I know the generation after that is just going to be. They're not gonna, they'll know their language.
Well, I'm left out because Armin is Armenian and he's from Sochi, Russia, and he's all connected to his thing. So
oh wow, that's amazing! Yeah,
he's speaking different languages, and I'm just over here freaking speaking like a.
Speaking of few languages is cool because when you speak like 3 or 4 or 5, you start to like be like, whoa, you start to like think in multiple different ways.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Like,
and I'll tell you, when I'm in nature, it's like I feel like my language is one. It's one with all existence.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, just when you sing to a bird or sing like I'm so connected with my fish on the lake, the fish and the turtles and the herons, and it's like they understand me, I understand them. It's just a great connection. It's a love connection, and language is just, it's one.
Are there any experiences that you've had in your life that are just overtly profound to you? Maybe like I don't know, I'm not saying you have to have this, but like a near-death experience or some sort of vision or a dream or anything that's changed you?
Well, I think I saw God when I was at the lake at my house. The sun was beaming, but it was beaming in such a way, like I started crying. I got goosebumps. It's like I saw God for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like, what? And I read a poem or something, or I read something that a person went searching for God, and when they found themselves, they found God. And I went inside and I was just kind of researching on like what just happened to me there. But I felt like it was a huge awakening. And many times if I'll put my hand in the water, you automatically see your shadow if the sun's out. But I see another hand too. It's like 3 hands. Yeah, it's
You
pretty.
saw 3 hands?
Yes, I swear. But it's the way the sun shines that you see the shadow, and you can see your hand on the water, and then you see your hand. So it's like 3 hands. Oh. But I don't know. There's a lot of significance to that for me. It's just I just feel like I'm so connected to the universe and all that. So
yeah,
those kind of things. I feel I have a high connection with nature and that kind of stuff, the universe. I want to learn more about my ancestors and Mother Earth and the herbs and the healing and those kind of things.
Are you familiar with the term synchronicity?
Of course.
Okay, good.
It happens to me all the time.
Yeah, us too.
And let me tell you, you had Dr. Will Tuttle on your show, so let me tell you about synchronicity. So I read, the World Peace Diet, and I was like, I love Dr. Will Tuttle. And I go to my tree all the time, and I'm like, I just want to meet him. I'd love to meet him one day. And I go home, and I find out, he's going to be talking at the Loving Hut in Texas that evening. I'm like, what?
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I call my husband. I'm like, we got to go. Get the tickets. We got to go. And we went, and it was packed. And then my husband and I had to sit separately. So we got our meals, and we sat down. And I looked to the right of me, and there was Dr. Will Tuttle. So it was just like, God is so good. So synchronicity started happening in my life. My dominant feelings and my dominant emotions were my dominant life. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Armin and I talk all about that all the time. I mean, I feel like when you're following your heart, living your true self and being honest with yourself, the synchronicities will occur, and if you're open to them, they occur more.
Yes.
And you say God, for example, and I'm all on board with that, but we have so many people, and I'm seeing it more, especially like in this Reddit community that I'm new to. They're just like if you say God, that's kind of a trigger word. They'll be like, oh my God, there's no God.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm on the level of like, let's freaking say God, whatever it is. It's different, a little bit different for everybody.
God is universe, spirituality, God, whatever that means to you.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I truly think it is. And this is why I'm a little bit sympathetic to those guys. A lot of those guys are either young, when it used to be cool, like sometimes it's cool for younger kids.
I know
to
what you're
be
about to say.
atheists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a fad thing. When you're like young and you're figuring things out and you're questioning things, you might go through that period where you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Anyone who says God is a fool, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And there's a lot of that in Reddit, because Reddit, you know what Reddit is? It's like who's gonna go? Dude, working adult professionals are not gonna go on Reddit unless they're in IT. They're kids in their hearts, or they're young, or they're computer nerds. That's Reddit, dude.
Yeah.
A realtor, a 50-year-old realtor, like selling houses all day, they're not gonna be on Reddit.
Not all. Reddit is kind of like, almost like, and oh man, I don't want to say this because there are really great people on Reddit. It's an echo chamber. It can be an echo chamber, and it seems maybe like for some like sort of ostracized type folks, or maybe people who aren't.
And I'm glad that they can go there.
Yeah, there should be a place for everybody. Because even, for example, the moderator of Rice University Reddit page messaged me last night, messaged us, and he was like, I was gonna take down your post. We did a podcast with the president of Rice University, President Lebron.
Nice.
And I posted it in the Rice University Reddit page, and he was like, yeah, I was going to take down your post, but then I saw it was getting so many upvotes that I decided to keep it in. So if you ever have any other podcasts with Rice stuff, feel free to post it. And I was like, why were you just going to take down this post? Like, I appreciate you keeping it on, but it's quality material with the president of Rice University.
Yeah.
Who else has interviewed him recently? Nobody.
It's like, man, it's really not. I think it's not a big deal. It took me a while to realize, but it's just like a club. They want to keep it their own club. They don't want outsiders to have their willy-nilly thing going on, whatever they want to do. It's their club.
Or we've been called a new account. We've been kind of like taking hit for being a new. I'm like, what? I got to be new at some point.
Look, all that stuff is silly. What I wanted to ask you is, Dolly, is this, okay? What is the ideal human future for you? Like, let's say 20, 30 years, what would you like humans to have accomplished?
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, I would like all humans to just, everybody live in harmony, everybody live their higher self, and, no war, there's no evil, there's no murder, there's no rape, there's no killing. Dr. Rao once told me that, we're known as Homo sapiens, but in a land of Ahimsa, the whole world will be known as Homo Ahimsa. Oh. That we just live this, we're caretakers of the planet instead of, the opposite. And so that's what I want for the future, is just peace on earth, peace to all.
Well, that's a big one.
Yeah, do unto others as you would do
That's
unto
the golden
yourself.
rule. Yeah. But let's get back to it. Like, that's what I say, that this beautiful word has come from India from 5,000 years ago, but we've gotten so far from it. So we need to return home, return to peace and liberty and kindness and freedom, and we need to get back to it.
Can we do that if we still have money and jobs and incentives to do better than other people? And
that might change. It might change. The money thing might change. It might be like, I'm offering this service, you're offering that service. Let's exchange the services.
Yeah. We were talking about that the other day.
So it might become that. Who knows?
Well, I think I know you said Mayor has a meeting at 3 or something.
Oh, but he'll do it. We have time because he has a phone, yeah.
Okay, so
it's a phone meeting.
You're okay on time? Mm-hmm. Well, good. I just wanted to show everybody the T-shirt that Dolly gave us.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. The Land of Ahimsa.
Land of Ahimsa T-shirt, and it's so cool. I'm actually probably definitely going to be wearing this today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So we definitely want everybody to go. When is it supposed to come out?
Yeah. So we were working on this for so long, and of course with COVID, everything got backed up. Yeah. But I just talked to my director, and I think the first copy is just getting finished with the editing. I want to take a look at it. So hopefully very soon, we'll start hiring some PR people, and hopefully now's the time to get it out into Amazon or Netflix or. It's very difficult, but now's the time because everybody's home.
Right.
So
definitely
I would love to
Netflix.
Just get it out there. I want to tour with it when I can.
If you need like a band to like do music.
Let's play some. Do you guys know sitar?
We can figure out sitar.
Indian tabla and
tabla. We'll do it.
Yeah, I love it.
But that would be very cool. We this is the kind of stuff that we're into. Like artistic. Heavy message, just being honest about everything.
Yeah, I was wondering, and you can just say no if you don't want to go there. Thankfully, we can edit things, and I have a meow that I like to use instead of a beep. When there's a word I have to beep out, use a cute little meow.
Oh, meow, okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun if we have to do that. But this is what I was going to ask. Like, you go on a platform like we're gonna be on YouTube, we're gonna upload this there, and we think about there's like 3 arguments about free speech right now. 1, well, private companies should be able to tell you what you can say or what you don't say.
Yeah.
and 2, they shouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
And 3, which is the side that I'm on, which is that private companies such as the biggest ones that we all use,
Yes.
and government, that line is kind of like getting blurry. You know.
Yeah, because whoever's telling the truth is bumped off.
That's what I'm saying.
And if you stay in that lie,
Right.
look at the whole media,
Right.
the entire media.
Yeah.
So
You know, I saw this I'm totally agree with that. I saw this crazy video last night, and sadly, well, not sadly for me, because I'm just watching everything. People are gonna be like, "Wow, it's from Fox News." I'm gonna be like, "Get over yourself. I'm watching all of it."
Right.
They want to do a 9/11 commission investigation on the storming of the Capitol, and what was so scary was that they went through 10 different news interviews on just different networks, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, blah, 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 blah. And all these people were like, we need a 9/11 commission. We need a 9/11 commission. We need a 9/11 commission on this. I'm like, wow, so you guys are all just reading the same script.
Yeah.
And by the way, did this look like 9/11? These dudes were like being silly. Yes, they were being silly. They weren't flying a plane into 2 buildings, killing like 3,000 people.
If I ever see a white dude
Yeah, so-
storming with like a shaman stuff,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, what is this? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, just recently, what just happened, everybody knows in Washington, but they'll show you one side of it, but what about the other side of it?
Right.
You know,
Oh,
that it
God.
wasn't the T supporters. It was, you know who it was. And but the media will keep showing that this person caused it, when this person did not cause it. If you look deeper into it,
Right.
I don't want to mention any names, but they rule us. They rule our mind. You know, television tells lies to your vision.
Right.
Get off the television.
Yeah.
Know thyself.
Right.
Yes, you need to watch maybe certain channels that are telling the truth if you want to know what's going on, but basically get off the television.
Yeah.
Go within yourself, know thyself, and you'll know the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's so crazy? As like, I don't think probably you or nobody here has like really watched television in a while.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Right.
I'm not. Yeah, unless it's a
seriously.
good documentary.
I don't. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. That's not even
I'm into that.
television.
I love to watch good documentaries or just old comedy.
Right.
Laughter is good,
Yeah.
but don't get caught up in the, you know, oh, this show and that show. She
Prime
looks
time
good,
programming,
or
really.
the fear. See,
Right.
they want us to live in fear
Yeah.
all the time, and that's how they grab you.
Yeah.
So never live in fear. Always, you know, live in that love space.
Right.
Let love guide you, not fear. Yeah.
See, that's what we were trying to say, and that's we want to use the podcast, but not only we want to use our music as a platform for that. And, you know, Wednesday night we're at Axelrad, and we're gonna use that microphone on stage to broadcast this message, and we're saying, don't let them divide us. We're gonna live through
Exactly.
love, and we're gonna live through music and art
Exactly.
and all this kind of stuff, and interpersonal communication, not tweeting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not Twitter back and forth.
Exactly.
I want to say one thing really quickly because this shocked me so much. I was watching AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and her most recent Zoom thing, and she's talking about white supremacy. And I get it. There are white people who think they're the best and all that kind of stuff, and I don't think that. I'm not for that. But you have to allow people to say what they're going to say. Don't hurt anybody. Don't go out of your way and hurt people physically, cause unnecessary harm, but you have to let them think what they're going to think, say what they're going to say, and that goes through every race. Every race is racist and blah, 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 blah. But she's saying we need to quadruple our funding for deprogramming camps for white supremacists.
Oh, yes, I heard that.
What does that sound like?
Yeah.
That sounds like some sort of weird, I don't even know, like, you gotta watch the clip because it's even more
The
than what I'm
word
saying.
deprogramming.
Yeah.
When
Exactly.
you start talking about deprogramming somebody.
Yeah. Why
and,
deprogram?
And I'm gonna give
And
some
camp.
guy, I'm going to give some guy the authority to tell this person how not to think, how to start thinking differently. Ooh, I don't know.
It's Simon Says. Simon says, sit down. Simon says, wear this.
Right.
Simon says, take this. Simon says, you know.
Right.
We are so brainwashed and manipulated. But, yeah, once you find your higher self, all this just goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously, and you learn to just love one another. Like, for example, you know, you're not white, you're Indian. You're not a man, you're a woman.
Yeah.
We don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
we appreciate you for
Yeah.
all your different values and
Yeah.
attributes, but it's like we're not even thinking about that because we're on a soul level.
Exactly.
You know?
That's it. Yeah.
We're going past the body, we're going past the outside image, we're on a soul level because we're actually all one.
That's right. That's right.
And with that, it's been an hour. That's usually our kind of time thing.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So if that's okay
wonderful.
with you, everybody.
Well, I just want to let everybody know that we have a Facebook, Land of Ahimsa.
Oh, yeah.
Link
Meet
it.
us on Instagram. And,
We're going to
yeah,
link all that stuff.
We're gonna put it all in our
Oh, great.
description.
Oh, that's
so you'll be able to
wonderful.
go to it.
That's wonderful.
We're gonna share it everywhere, and if you want to share it, that'd be great too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's anything you want to shout out, so of course the movie's coming out. Watch out, follow all the channels we're gonna link
Yeah.
to see when the release is and what platforms you can find the movie. I'm actually shocked that you said this is like the first documentary really of its kind.
Yeah, so India, like no one's done a documentary on India and veganism. Of course, there's
Yeah.
many documentaries on India,
Yeah.
beautiful country, but not on this topic because dairy is huge. Most of
Yeah.
India is vegetarian, but now, of course, it's becoming more non-vegetarian with the Pizza Hut and the KFCs and the all that coming in, and a lot of chicken eating going on, a lot of egg eating, and so all that's come. But predominantly, the Hindus and Jains believing in Ahimsa are pure vegetarians. So that's my, I want to educate and bring awareness that we have to get rid of the dairy. And it's really not that hard. We can just, and now even India is creating milks that are plant-based, you know, vegan leather. There are vegan restaurants coming up. So a lot of good things are happening.
Fantastic.
This has been episode 21.
That was a great
with the
episode.
great Dolly Vyas-Ahuja.
Yeah.
We thank you so much for coming. It was such a
thank
treat.
you guys. Thank you guys.
It's
Thank you so
truly
much.
actually an amazing episode. We will see you next time for the Houston Ensemble podcast. Remember, get an Epic water filter at Epic Water Filters. Houston Ensemble is the discount code. You can find it in the description.
It's time to clear some stuff up here.
Yeah.
Keep the pineal gland open.
Yeah.
See, she already knows.
Yep.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Namaste.
See ya.